Hello there, and thank you for joining me. This is Semaj, Creating with Semaj. If you're here for the first time, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. Today, I thought we would take it back to the basics and just do something that's available for everyone. A pencil, some paper, and just some time to connect with you. So, over the weekend, I had this incredible opportunity to watch a video on an artist by the name of Harold Gard. And one of the amazing things that Harold Gard did is he had a sketchbook, and he would spend a lot of time drawing and doing things in his sketchbook. And I think what enough of us don't do often enough is just sit and play with some sketching. Having an opportunity to connect with your creativity and highlight how you do things is really an important thing to do, because our individuality, it really matters. And art is you expressing your level of individuality, however that might show up for you. And sometimes when we are creating, we get frustrated because we want things to look like something. But you know what's funny? Is if we never spend time creating and doing the thing that we're doing, it's really, really hard to always be excellent at it the very first time. But what's even more exciting is we can keep trying to see how much better we can get each time at the things that we're trying to do. Part of being human is being a creative, however that's going to show up for you. But we can never get to that place of being a creative if we don't take the time to be creative. And sometimes being creative isn't anything more than a mind frame or a mindset. It's a practice of being mindful. And mindfulness allows you to be present in that moment of whatever it is that you are doing, fully immersed in the experience, forgetting all space and time as if it disappears. But in the same time, you gain and increase your time because you're more focused, and when you come out of that space, you accomplish even more by having spent time in your creativity. It's a strange, strange phenomenon how the act of creativity actually creates more space for us. It allows us to have more clarity. Awareness comes to us. Things that we may have been wondering about and had concerns about, questions are answered in that space of creativity. In that time that we get to be quiet. In that space where we just get to be present with that part of ourselves that sometimes we judge too harshly. There's so much judgment out there Why do we have to throw it upon ourselves when we get into our space of creativity? This is a space to be free and to express yourself however it is that you desire to do that. However you choose to show up in your creativity for yourself, and how you choose to express yourself in that space is the most important thing. Maybe you're a jewelry artist. Maybe you're a fashion designer. Maybe you're a macrame artist, or someone who loves cooking, and that is the way that you communicate your love and your passion and your creativity. Because you can walk into any space and open a fridge or a cupboard and come up with the most delicious and amazing meals. That is a process of creativity. Maybe you're a person who knows how to budget really well and just has an understanding of how that works. And you have tricks or things that make it super, super easy to understand. That's a process of creativity. And we need to embrace those things about ourselves. We need to embrace the way creativity shows up for us. And maybe stop labeling it as just art is what is only creative. Thinking in different ways, from different paradigms and different perspectives, is creative. Not everyone has the capacity or capability of doing that. And if that is something that you possess or lean into, that is very creative. As we spend time with ourselves, sometimes things come up. It's my little doggy in the background having a moment. Sorry about that. It'll go away in a moment. My apologies. I don't do editing in these videos because, life is life. And it doesn't need to be all cleaned and polished up for you. It can be just what it is. Having the chance to be creative allows us to release things and have conversations with ourselves in that quiet space. And we learn things about ourselves. We learn how we process information. Sometimes we go back to the past and we try to connect the dots of this experience to another, and sometimes we figure out things about ourselves which are revealing and allow us to grow and expand in this experience of living this life. But one of the most important things is that you have to find a way to express yourself, because we are expressive, creative beings. And sometimes, being those expressive, creative beings, we get all locked up in the minutia of things that don't really matter. And we start to listen to the chatter on the outside. And we start believing what other people put on us about the who and the what we are. And what's really important is that we learn to quiet the outside noise and get back to the quiet and the time that we get to spend with ourselves, because that's our chance to decompress, and to get recharged, to get clarity, and to gain back. What's really strange is time. Because with that clarity, just the other things come with so much more ease, with less anxiety and stress about them. And that in itself is such a beautiful thing to have the experience of, right? To have less stress and anxiety in your life about the everyday, ordinary things. Because you took a little time to just be with you in your creative space, however that shows up. And it allows you to be quiet. And to see what you can do and what you're capable of. And I know that it's easier said than done. I know. But if we make everything hard, and we make everything difficult, and we find excuses for everything, we would never get anything accomplished. So, I think that rather than making up excuses as to the why we can or can't accomplish something, maybe we need to step away from the try and lean into the do. And maybe it's 2 minutes today. But 2 minutes of time invested in you, I guarantee you, is one of the very best investments you can make. Because investing in you is really investing in so much more. It's investing in others. It's investing in your welfare and your well-being. It's honoring that part of yourself that deserves to be recognized for all that it's capable of and all that it's achieved. And sometimes just spending a little time with someone who helps you think differently, or brings about awareness to you that you may have never thought or experienced. Maybe they come from a different life or a different experience, and they can share with you their perspective. We live in an amazing experience in what we call life. And in that experience, we come into contact with so much. The good, the bad, the ugly. But all of those things eventually add up, right? And they eventually create the threads of who we become in this tapestry of our life. So if you get a chance, I encourage you to do two things. I'm going to leave a link below for the video from Harold Guard. The gentleman that created the video is a great storyteller and filmmaker. And the thing that I liked best about the video, not only the age of Harold Guard and the fact that he is still painting and was creating when that video was made in 2015, but I love the message that he shared about how important it is to just create and what you get from creating. And in the process of creating, how you sometimes hit difficult spots that are hard, like when you're doing a piece and it suddenly becomes ugly, or you get in your head and out of your heart and you start judging whatever it is that you're creating. You have to learn in that experience to just kind of let go and maybe sit back and listen to what needs to be or wants to be said by the piece that you're working on. Maybe learning and listening, and maybe learning to listen and sitting in the quiet. So as we finish up our video today, I would love for you to take some time to watch that video if you get a chance. You can even put it on fast play. You hit that little gear, you can change the speed, you can turn it up to 1.75, and you can watch that video in 15, 20 minutes. You can do that. That's the power. That's the power of that gear. The other thing is, I would love for you to stop judging everything that you do, and just to allow the experience to be what it is. There is so much judgment out there. You are the last person who needs to pile on more. I would love if instead you could just be kinder and gentler, maybe a little more love and compassion. And maybe speak to yourself sometimes more the way you would to your best friend, to someone who you care deeply about and would never want to lose. Because when we share those positive words with ourselves, it reinforces that child that's inside of us that never really grew up and is still there, will always be there, is always a part of who you are. And when you get to have a conversation with that child, you get to learn so many things. And that conversation can begin when you stop judging and just allow that beauty and that innocence and that vulnerability and that gentle part of you to come out, and to love it and to nurture it and to let it know it's okay to play. Because with you it's safe, and you will always love it and nurture it and take care of it in a way that no one else ever has. So celebrate that part of you. Learn to be less judgmental of who you are, and just embrace yourself with a little bit more love. Thank you for joining me today in this time together. If you liked the content, please give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoyed it, please subscribe. And if you'd like to share this message with someone else who might need to hear it, please do, because it helps the algorithm and it's great karma. Thank you for joining me in this experience of creating together for just 20 minutes. I trust you have a magnificent and amazing day wherever you might be. Until then,